There are three things we're not supposed to talk about in our culture: religion, sex, and politics. Those are the three no-nos over the dinner table. And when you talk about gay marriage, you literally talk about the intersection of all three. My name's Trace Watson. I'm the executive director of Campus for a Cause, a grassroots nonprofit devoted to educating the public about really important progressive issues. Basically, anything that Rush Limbaugh doesn't like, we're going to build a project around. My family is a very religious family. We're Episcopalians. My father as a kid went to church every day, really believed in it. He's a very conservative Republican, a Rush Limbaugh Republican in fact. And my father actually founded a ministry in the Episcopal Church to pray the gay away. So you can imagine the conversation when, I came out of the closet and, we had to have the conversation about, me being gay. It wasn't pleasant. When I was much older, when I worked on the No on 8 campaign, things really came to a boil, with my father. And my father actually donated to and worked on the Yes on 8 campaign. And here I am, a field organizer for No on 8, fighting the fight of my life to make sure that my rights are protected. And my own flesh and blood, my father, is campaigning. I had this epiphany that I need to make it as clear as possible to him what this means. If you vote Yes on 8, that's rejecting me fundamentally, and that wasn't acceptable if you're going to be in my life. And I made the realization that I was going to have to break up with my father. And the night before the election, my mom called me, and she said, I think you need to speak to your father. And I started crying, and I said, I can't do that. Mom, if I talk to my father, it will destroy our family, because you know what I'm going to say. And she said, I know what you're going to say, and you owe it to him, to tell him. And my father gets on and said, I love you very much, and this is the hardest thing I'm ever going to have to do in my life. But if you vote Yes on 8, you're rejecting me. That says that you don't accept the fundamental being of who I am. And you can hate the sin and love the sinner, but this is a line in the sand. If you cross this line, the cost of that is our relationship. You will never be part of my life again. He was quiet, and I was like, Dad, say something. And he was like, I don't know what you want me to say, son. And I said, well, anything. Say you won't vote on it. Say the voters will decide. I'll accept if you don't go in there and vote my rights away as my own father. I'll accept that as enough. If you're willing not to vote on this issue, you feel strongly on. And he said, okay, I think I can do that. Next day I go out to the polling booth and I hold my sign in the rain, vote No on 8, right? And I get this text message from my sister, pick up the phone now. And I'm like, oh my God, what's... And the phone rings and it's my father. And he was like, well, I went into the voting booth and I was in there for an hour. And I looked at that poll and I saw your face and I saw your future. And I saw who you're gonna be when you grow up. And I looked at the yes and I looked at the no and I broke down crying. And I was in there 1 hour and I decided that I had to vote No on 8, and I decided to do it because I love you. And you know what, today, my dad is on the board of directors of Campus for a Cause, and he is a huge advocate for gay rights. And it was because I was willing to stand up and say, this is how important this is. He says he does it because he loves me.